Wassail Beautiful People.
It's Patrick! Yay! Hello, Patrick.
Hi.
So, I'm going to do the bells for everyone, just so you have a little bit of continuity there. Do you know what? I've never played 4 bells. I did 4 for the 4 planets that are coming out of retrograde, but they've never been so even. I've never ever experienced 4 even bells before.
First time for everything, right?
There's always a first time for everything. So what's going to happen tomorrow? Mercury is going retrograde. And it's going retrograde until the 18th of October, and it's coming out on the same day as Saturn. Jupiter. My head was playing a joke in my head. I was like, they're all coming out. I'm like, I remember that one. It was a long time ago, but I definitely remember coming out. So maybe this is all going to be disco balls and glitter and gold lame spreading down from the cosmos to everybody. So Mercury is going to go retrograde and join the other 6 planets, which are Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, Neptune, Gaia, Uranus, Chiron, and then obviously Mercury. And then on the 18th, it will come back out. But before that, the 3 big beasts are all coming out of the woodwork. And they're not inner planets as such. Yeah, Jupiter's a bit of an inner planet, but they're big energies coming out. Pluto went in for the Janus Plutonus way back on the 28th of April.
Yeah, 28th.
28th of April on the full moon in Aquarius, which is a pink moon. And so that's coming out on the 6th, stationary direct. The thing about this whole stationary and direct days, because people have different times for them, it's because they're such big, slow-moving energies that you can't quite tell when it's turning and coming back the other way. So it's around the 6th, the 7th, also different time periods over the world, depending on where you live. So 6th is where we're having it GMT-ish, universal time. Then Saturn's coming out on the 11th, and then Jupiter's coming out on the 18th with his mate, the gender fluid Mercury. So that's the party. So Patrick and I are going to sling you down some cards about each of the planets and talk about what energies come out and what we think that might mean for you and me and everybody. So we're going to start, I think, Patrick, with Mercury going in. What we were talking about earlier, we need to discuss the fact that all 3 times that Mercury went retrograde this year, it was entirely in air signs, which is a really nice indicator of that energy that we've changed from Earth epoch to air epoch in the Great Mutation last year. That's just a little interesting fact for you all, because we like to bring interesting facts. So I've got my shamanics first of all. And I'm gonna, I don't know what deck are you starting with?
I'll start with the in-between tarot.
Whoa, because Mercury is going in between to get up to something. See, I'll give you a card for Mercury, and Patrick could give you an in-between frequency it's creating. Oh my God. I've got the most amazing card. I can't believe it.
Ooh. Oh.
So I've got. I know.
Anyway.
When you think about how everyone talked about Mercury retrograde as being several times, and actually in my reading there was a little snifter, a little stankness into the the energy of Libra season. It said Mercury was coming as like a great big coughing curse. Now it's the beauty way. It's the healing for
And they do say that silence is golden, so maybe we'll discover some truth to that. The card that came out as the in-between energy, it's Temperance heading into the Devil.
Ooh.
But at the bottom of the deck was the Devil heading into the Tower. So
see, now I'm gonna have to look at the bottom of my deck.
The ghost.
You see, it did have that. Oh my God, look, and it's 22. 22 and 4. Because the screen's over there. Trying to line up where you put the cards is a little bit hard. 22 and 4. It's the healing, but it feels, because of that 22, the ancestral part, that half of the healing is their energy and half of it's yours, or half of it's Mercury's and half of it's yours and the ancestors. But it feels like it's a two-way road.
I like that energy because I feel like that two-way road, it's this energy where they're both sort of like meeting under the tree, right? And then there's this like Phoenix rebirth energy that's also, it's looming overhead, but
it's like the two figures in your card are kind of both leaning in to support the Yggdrasil, not of a personal Yggdrasil, but the bigger Yggdrasil.
There you go. That's clear. Yeah. And then we see, well, we don't see the people in the second card, but we see the tree inside of the glass pyramid. And we see that the Phoenix has found sort of its target.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe there is something that is a little roundabout here.
There's an echo as well, but I feel in your second one, that glass pyramid sort of shape, that's the split between the curtains, there's that sense of a reveal, but also a protection. So although, yeah, we're saying it's moving towards Devil, towards Tower, to bring walls down, there's something quite cozy. It's almost, I want to kind of say, something happened to me the other day, we were talking about something. It's a little bit like going backstage and seeing the theatre from the wings, seeing how the magic's done.
I like that. That's
yeah. I wish I could remember who I was talking to and what it was in reference to. But sometimes that's all you need, the conversation to feed the energy into the cards. So I'm gonna take. I feel like I want to take an Odin, but I also want to get onto the runes. What should I do first, the Raw Runes or the Odin?
Raw Runes.
Picked up the Odin.
Oh well.
Right. Let's see what the Raw Runes have. I want to just say about the Raw Runes, I'm loving them so much. The more I use them, the more I'm learning how to read cards and energies so differently. And it's really important. What's that one?
It's the Hermit into the Wheel of Fortune. I just found it on the floor.
Well, you see, to me, that would be saying this is no longer about the individual truth. It's about the global truth. Communication, Mercury. The fact that it was on the floor suggests that energy is no longer on the table. Individualism, selfishness is no longer part of what's coming in this Mercury period. But something of the energy in here is not just ancestors coming around, but also us all coming around together.
And this is the music of the spheres, right?
Ooh.
You can see the musical notes.
Ooh.
Well, maybe you can see. Yeah, there you go. That he's sort of sitting.
Yeah. Is he on a compact disc?
I mean, he could be.
Is he
or he could be on a speaker.
Is he the B-side? You turn it over and nothing plays because it's just the printed.
Oh.
so the Phoenix that was shining down that light in your card can't fire the audio signal.
It's almost the maybe it's songs that the ancestor, I don't know if they're necessarily forgotten or if they were never able to be sung in the first place.
Yeah.
And so it's like a sound that's just been outside of like everything else, but also in between, like in it.
Maybe it's the culmination of the entire sound of the music of the spheres that Pythagoras first talked about. The other thing immediately that I did think of when you were talking about songs was song lines, dragon lines, energies, because song lines are how we sang the world into creation, or at least Aboriginal dream time. That's how life came about. The ancestors sang the energies to bring frequency. And it's interesting because even in many religions, Om is the first sound, the frequency that creates things. And if you go to the New Testament and you look at the Gospel of St. John, that begins with, in the beginning was the word, which is a frequency. So maybe it is something about the entire frequency, because song frequency is Mercury. Maybe it's a returning song, a renewing song. So I'm going to do maroons. Oh, that one flew. Just one for the moment. I'm going to shuffle, but I'm just going to show you it. Elks. For me, Elks is protection. And we talked about that protective zone around the Yggdrasil tree in your Devil to the Tower card.
Yeah.
See, there's magic happening. You say a word, the cards give it. They're just trying to show everyone how clever we are. We're really clever.
It bolsters my confidence. It makes me feel good, so I'll take it.
Oh, look, what's up? I love it. Sap's rising, to be impassioned. It's, you know, that's beauty way energy. The dragonfly coming out of its nymph phase, the sacral coming online. Because a dragonfly begins its life in a pond, and it lives at the pond for 6 months, 2 years, depending on what type of dragonfly it's going to be, or damselfly. And then one day they climb up a reed and they stick their head out and they go, because they've never breathed air before. So they have to transform their entire breathing apparatus. There has to be a complete DNA change that takes place in a dragonfly. When it can finally breathe the air instead of the water, it then crawls out a little bit more, and then at the back of its neck, it cracks open, and there's no chrysalis. The dragonfly just lifts itself out of the body. That body can fall into the pond to be recycled, and then the dragonfly pumps up its long tail that was all screwed up, and then it just waits there until it's dry, and then somehow, it's never done it before, but it knows how to fly and take off. I think there's something about that energy in what we're looking at with this Mercury retrograde, like understanding new things about ourselves.
I almost wonder if that is this song that the ancestors, I don't know if the ancestors are the ones singing it. But it's interesting because, like you said, well, I guess we didn't talk about it here, but last year we had the reverse of that, where Mercury would start in water for what, Pisces into Aquarius, and then it did Scorpio back into Libra. Like the nymph comes out of the water, but last year it was going back into the water. And we've had Jupiter retrograde from Pisces back into Aquarius to meet Saturn in that space again.
Yes. So it is something about emerging from, you see, I always think that when we were in the earthy book, I feel like all the emotions were so silty with all the earth particles inside the water that you couldn't see properly. So it's kind of a dance of going into the water and coming out of the water, somehow as if we are part of the filter system that's cleaning up all the crap in the emotional landscape. But every time we want to clear up the thing, we've actually got to get in the water and like let all the crap stick all over us somehow, and then get out and dry off in the air.
I mean, that's one way to get the earth out of the water.
Yeah, you just got to go in and keep filtering it out with your hands. Maybe you filter it out with your mouth.
Well, they have, are they called like the life straws or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe Mercury is the life straw that we need to clean up the emotional body, the collective emotional body.
We ban plastic straws in most places.
Yeah. I have a metal straw here. My mom got it.
I love a metal straw. I used to have a set and they had a little spoon on the bottom as well, so that you could stir things and then suck through. They were from France. They're very chic out there with their utensils. So the other one I've got one card which had fallen on the floor. And I'm going to say for the moment, for our reading, anything in the floor is an energy that's being left behind. It's interesting. It's Knafa, blood sacrifice.
Mm.
And in many ways, I'm fascinated by that because it keeps turning up whenever I do any of my Mayan readings, because there's something about blood sacrifice. Whether they're true or not, I don't know yet. I haven't made my mind up. But this is about growing up. It's like getting rid of the notion of being a child. It's like humanity's got to grow up. But there is an energy of still not letting go of the childishness. Like being a fully stable, emotionally stable adult, but still being like a boy or a girl, a child, in the joy, the zeal, the love of things.
That makes me think of this energy again. It's almost like this is the path that would have happened had like this, where they ate of the apple, right? In the biblical story of Adam and Eve. It's like, had they never fallen to the temptation, then they never would have existed in this world where like they're so available and susceptible to devil energy. And it reminds me of in the Chichen Itza part 2, when you talked about how when the first blood was spilled, it soiled that like 13 frequency and it put them into the 12 for them to work back into the 13. And it's like, it's that part of the cycle. In a way.
And we're going on the new moon when Pluto goes.
13, 13, 13.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna chuck an Odin on Mercury.
That's a lot of cards.
That's interesting. I've got one. I've got Fair. Actually, I didn't talk about that, but I'm just going to say Elton Protection. It is that energy of a rising energy of the earth, the cosmos protecting us. And then in the main rune cards that we've got here, it's Fair. This is the beginning. It's like a new beginning energy. It's like I'm almost seeing Heimdall blowing a fanfare for a new side B, turning the disc over that your hermit's sitting on. It's like it's time for a new tune. Oh, do you know what? It is time for a new tune. Where I'm staying here, there's a bar, and the house is open because it's never cold enough for them to worry about, winter. And this bar plays really loud music, but they've only got one playlist, and they play that playlist every night, and it's all 70s, 1970s tunes, and they just get on your nerves in the end. Once upon a time, I loved them. And I'm not saying it's because they're on repeat every night. Even the first night they played them, I was like, oh my God, I don't like those tunes anymore. So things I used to love, I don't love anymore. Just saying.
And so over here on the, what is this, the Threads of Fate Oracle? Oh, well, there's Paradox behind it. At the bottom of the deck is Strength, and the card that came out is Connect to Heart.
Is it 2 dogs? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, it's a moon energy, so kind of sort of, well, this moon looks more full than new. Maybe it's actually more of an eclipse. Like the moon in front of the sun. Here? Yeah. Almost like the moon is in front of the sun, and that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the other card? Strength, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's got a sense of the roots of Yggdrasil.
But almost, it feels like a sapling for some reason. like it's a shrub right now. It hasn't grown. There's not enough separation between the canopy and the ground to really call it a tree.
That's really
You know what I mean?
because the leaf shade flipped over but didn't fall out.
Oh. So maybe it is a little bit of that energy where it's like, because it's so close, the shadow, like the underside of the leaves are close to the roots where we do all of that nurturing, right? And there's almost an energy, maybe it is in that flipping to the side B.
Yeah,
Like,
when you said about the closeness of like the leaves and the roots, there's an idea, I was seeing the idea of the sacral, the trunk, not being present at the moment because again, it's not about individual energy, it's about global energy perhaps. I'm hearing, because this card is about cattle, wealth as dictated to by how many animals do you own and put inside a fence. And for me, this energy is about taking down the fences so that animals can run free, because the second card is wild oxen in the fifth art. So it's about being trapped to create wealth, 12 frequency, to being free. And every time you hold that card up, it's like the two people that were around the tree at the beginning, it's like they've become, I'm just hearing Who Let the Dogs Out, that song, as they come out of the pyramid, because there's a kind of pyramid shape.
And you don't see them in there. So
no, I know. Who let them out?
Maybe that's what this guy is saying. It's like, who let him out? Where did they go?
Dogs out. Right, I'm gonna. I think I'm not going to add any more to Mercury for me. Do you want to add any more?
Well, let's see. I'll pick this up.
I might if you add some more, but I'm on the Who Let the Dogs Out, and I've got stuck past that.
So I picked up the deck to the Hermit in the Tarot Apocalypse. It's interesting because it's that same sort of circular shape in a way.
But it's a double Hermit.
Yeah. And we just, is that Lady Gate? No, maybe. She's a lady.
It is the Gnunga. It really is the 9/9 portal. And that was really relevant.
Oh, it is, yeah.
So, but the other thing for me, 9/9 is also, it's literally just one piece away from a century, like a bigger completion and a new beginning. And I often see anything that's 1 and 0s as binary, as about something that takes out all of the unnecessary language of alphabet and Thuthart and just brings it down to 1 0 1 0 1 0 in any combination that can still convey an entire message, but quicker.
I've had that song in my head for a little bit now. Ever since, was it when you got Beauty Way in the Ghost Dance? And it's, I don't know what it is, but it's like, do you hear the people singing the song of angry men? That's the only part that I know of that song.
I don't know that song, but I'll look that up afterwards.
Well, it might have been around.
Just look that up later. All I'm getting in my head are old Doris Day tracks.
Ooh, care to get? Oh wait, I guess you don't want to sing too much, or else.
No, I think we're all right with singing.
Oh,
you're creating the song yourself. They don't own the recording of you doing it. I think there's something a bit weird, but who knows? You know, if all they'll have to do is just say we have to take the video down, and we'll do it. I'm not paying any money, and I'm still going to enjoy myself. I'm not going to stop singing. Singing is something that Mercury is telling me you can't take away from me. My bloody art form. So I'm going to line those up, and I want to move on to Pluto. Because I like to keep them out, because I like to see reference back.
I already put mine away, so hopefully one of us will remember.
Because I will remember. I won't remember anything. I don't remember anything. That's why I have to lay all the cards out. And then when people write comments to me, I have to watch it all again. I can't remember anything I said. If you do when you go into that thing where you're trying too hard to squeeze a message from something, it's a crap message. It doesn't work. When you just let go of and you're in the now, that's when all the beautiful messages come out. And you don't remember that. You're not storing memory because you're not living in the past or the future. You're literally in that moment delivering speech.
Mm.
And I've noticed, lots of other readers that we follow, that it's the same for them. Cindy, she writes a great big long book after everything so she can remember what she said. I'm not that organized.
I feel like for me, there are times I feel like I have a very situational memory. Yeah. So if I encounter an energy, I'm like, oh, this is that one thing that I experienced at one time.
I think I'm getting thunder.
Pluto's bringing the thunder.
Pluto's bringing the thunder. I'm really sure I just heard a rumble of thunder. Exciting. So, look what's on the bottom again.
Ooh.
I'm going to put that out at the end of Mercury because it was definitely there as an energy of this Libra season. Oh, look, that's really interesting. It's 1-4. It's 14. So it means I've got 4 of the Beauty Way, 2 of the Ghost Dance, and then I've got 1-4. And so it's almost what they're saying to me, if you take that 1 away and put it on your 99, that's the completion. That has to change. Freedom to speak. They're also saying to me, it's like in Earth Epoch, you can say all the lies you want and bury them in the really heavy earth. You can't do that anymore. If you can't live in a truth, then you're just going to get, poked really hard by the Queen of Swords. You don't want to mess with that bitch.
Somebody just sent me a video. I watched a minute maybe of it. I went, and that's what they were talking about. They were talking about, before everyone had cell phones and cameras and social media, it was easy to sort of say, this is the story, this is what happened. And for that's all we had really. But now there are so many different perspectives that we're privy to that can't really do it anymore. And they were talking about, you can't really lie like you used to be able to, and you can't get away with it. And when it happens, we know it.
And propaganda, people always think is something of the past rather than of the present for some reason. I don't get that. Propaganda's always there. It's telling the angle of a story.
Yeah. I don't think, I was going to say, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but...
No. I think that a lot of the time, I think anything that happened, all the awful things that have happened during Earth Epoch, they were meant to happen. If we're going to move forwards into a new epoch, we have to have something we don't like so much to compare where we would like our future to be.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're just going to make the same mistakes over and over again. It's like I've always, from very young, I don't know whether you have the same thing in America, but we have the poppy appeal in Britain for the 11th of the 11th, for the 2 world wars to remember. And on the middle of the poppy, it says, lest we forget. And even when I was about 6, I was like, but you did forget. You've forgotten again. You forget all the time. We need these things to remind us of what we shouldn't do again. But in Earth Epoch, I don't think you could help doing it again. And no one's to blame for that. It's the energy of the cosmos bringing us to that frequency. And now, to me, the energy of the cosmos is bringing us to something new.
Yeah.
And there's I don't need retribution on anyone.
Yeah.
People
and I think that's something that we hear a lot. It's like, lest we forget, lest we forget, lest we forget. Every time something happens. And I wonder if that is something that as a child, maybe it's not easier to see, it's harder to understand. And it's like, as we live more life and as we compromise more and more, and as we we get used to balancing and weighing and not, like, almost like with the individual energy, it's like being so wrapped up in our own individual lives that when we take the tune in a different direction that may not be as sweet in some other place, we kind of sort of balance and weigh that against our own desires and security and stuff like that, and it makes it a lot more allowable. And so it's almost like in some not great maybe way, it becomes the template. It's like, we haven't forgotten this. What we're doing now is informed by that, so thank you. And it's like, oh gosh, that's not what we, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think a lot of earlier parts of history are re-emerging to show us also that kind of different energy that was the age of Pisces, because we're leaving that now.
Yeah.
To me, it feels like all the energy is up for grabs. I say up for grabs, it's not really. The energy is changing regardless of how people behave. It's whether we want to settle into it and accept it. And for me, that's what astrology is about. When I reach out right now, doing this reading, you know, I can have a laugh about the energies, but really I'm just stretching out into the cosmos and asking them, what's really going on? Because if you understand what might be coming towards you, you're better prepared for it.
Yeah. And I feel like every time I see 14 now, it's never gonna be the same. No. Ever since I asked you yesterday, it was like, hey Russ, what's 14? Because I saw 1414 or something. It reminds me of that Lafruma.
Yeah, Elven Light. And that also reminds me of, for me, higher dimensional beings are when people have reached a consensus of consciousness that there's no need for argument almost. They understand the flow and the function of the energy and they just flow with it. And I think when we talk about Lifruma, yeah, we all have a higher self of some kind, a connection to something that contains more knowledge than our brain can hold, and it can feed us information. But also Elven Light, there's a piece of each of us in the Elven Light. Because there's a piece of us in source.
Yeah. And it's almost like when the curse came out to end it, it almost did feel like it's that piece of the ancestry that may now in this energy have an opportunity to speak and or to be heard in a way that it wasn't able to before.
Yeah, or even just to be, I'm looking at it now and seeing it as having the blockage taken off. Like maybe this hand was just Earth Epoch or Age of Pisces in an energy when we couldn't, humanity couldn't have those multiple dimensional higher frequency connections. And maybe that energy is being taken off to get us all to flow in a different kind of hive mentality. Because weirdly, you know, I said in a video yesterday, I think it was, I've been seeing lots of ants. Usually it's flies, you know, but flies are very individual. They do their own thing. Ants don't. Ants are a hive mind. And shortly before leaving Portugal, I was dealing with a lot of wasps, and wasps are a hive mind. So maybe the insects that I'm interacting with changes to show me the different forms of insect society. You know, today I saw an ant that had been hurt, and there were a lot of ants. They're really tiny, weeny little ants here. And this ant was in pain, whether I'd trodden on it or something. They're so tiny, you can't even see them unless you're, you know, 5 centimeters from the ground. And then a whole pile of ants climbed all over the one ant, and they all kept going in and out, and then they all left apart from one who picked up the injured ant and took it back. I was like, it's like an ambulance has turned up.
That was, it's because I had a friend, it was 6th grade math class. There was an ant, and you know, we're 6th graders, and we're like, kill the ant. And she's like, no, don't kill the ant. And I saw her, or maybe I messaged her on Facebook a few years ago, And I was like, you're the reason why I stopped killing ants. And she said, that's funny because I started. I was like, no.
You're the reason I started killing them.
But yeah, like, I don't know. It would be like, oh, now I recommit to my decision to not kill the ants. I'll just leave it to the spiders.
I'm thinking that her younger self that was more openly connected to source understood a truth that her later embodiment didn't. And she was able in that innocence to pass a message to you that mattered.
Wait.
Right, should we
I wonder. Okay. Yeah, Pluto.
I'll do where Pluto's at, and you do the transition. So Pluto is coming out of retrograde, and Pluto's still in Capricorn. And a year ago, Pluto was in Capricorn with Saturn and Jupiter. So the reason I bring that up is because when they're all together ganging up in Capricorn, they're very control, authoritarian, top-down ordering. And the difference now is that Pluto, death and rebirth, all alone. The other thing I always think about Pluto is Pluto, because they are cosmic bodies, it knows where it's going. It knows that its days are numbered in Pluto, in Capricorn, and it's preparing itself. The only funny thing is Pluto's got such an erratic orbit that it goes into Aquarius and it goes back out, and it goes back in and it goes back out, and it does it 5 times before it goes, oh, you're right, I feel quite comfortable in here now. And that's a lot like us on spiritual journeys. We think we've got something and then we haven't. And then we think we've got something and then we haven't. And sometimes it takes 5 or 6 goes before you can do it.
I feel like I feel reassured by that though. Like we get chances, we get opportunities before Pluto is firmly in Aquarius.
The card that's fallen out is the card I always equate with Pluto.
The giveaway.
It's the giveaway. Let go. Reach up for something new. Death and rebirth. Death and rebirth. But also look, it's the idea of Jupiter, Saturn and Pluto. They're all present. There's something huge that Pluto's first step outwards is bringing.
Interesting.
What do you got for me?
It's the Knight of Wands into the Queen of Wands, and I did one more shuffle. And the bottom of the deck is the Page of Wands into the Knight of Wands. So I guess we're going to be doing this thing where we get these connections.
Backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards.
Oh. But so I don't know if she's going in or, well, you said taking the first step out.
Yeah.
So she's going to come out and then she goes back in. But
yeah, but she goes back 2 steps for going forwards 1, because it's Knight to Queen, and then going right back to Queen to come back to Knight.
And at the Knight, it's the graduation.
Hooray! Party, Mrs. Robinson.
Yeah, there we go. Less clear.
What's she holding up?
The cat.
Oh, what?
With the graduation cap.
Oh, the cap. I see. Couldn't see that before.
Yeah, with the 10 on it, 2 wands on it. What'd you say about 1 and 0?
Yeah, binary.
And then there's somebody out there, like, still holding the flame, carrying the torch.
Oh, little divine spark. No,
well,
isn't that the Knight moving on?
No, this is the page into the Knight.
Oh.
So the Knight it's her, but it feels like there's someone here to offer the page light, right? But in the Knight, her wand isn't lit. So it's almost like she's graduated from needing light in those spaces, and now she can just go in and experience the energy as it is. And I think this is the I don't know, but I think that's the symbol of the solar cross or something like that. Maybe.
Yeah, it's and the Celtic cross sometimes I think is drawn like that with the circle. It's also, do you know what it is? Do you know the card ennui in the runes?
Yeah.
Distance, willfulness, teenage years. We're getting that message again of growing up, graduating.
Can't tell if her cloak is, if her graduation gown is black. I mean, it's in the shadow, so we don't know. If she donned the white and left the black in the giveaway, right? Death into the rebirth. Yeah, from the bottom to the top.
And this is a 23, which is a 5. Curse was 14. So Mercury is bringing in the notion of bringing that to a close and bringing us on to letting go of what was coming to a close. I feel like also in your card, there's something about the figure in the background on the graduation, sort of giving me the energy of your past is the thing that illuminates you and gives you support.
That feels really sweet. I'm like, oh.
On the bottom of my deck, because I was doing one card falling and then once on the bottom, wind, change, Pluto, and it's followed by the beloved, which is 5, since we're on the theme of 5s. Look, I tell you that, look, the interesting thing is, do you remember when I was in Lisbon, I kept doing readings about Pluto, and every time he kept saying Pluto really loves you. I was like, this is not Pluto energy. This is wrong. So I'm on Pluto, and it's saying maybe it's not us that's letting go. Maybe Pluto is letting go as it comes through this retro period to go stationary direct. And it's changing. 6 and 3 is to break free of a trap. And maybe it is coming in to just be really nice.
It feels like it reminds me instantly of, I mean, the show is over, The Good Place. And there was, I don't know if you've seen it, but there was an energy where it's like how almost impossible it was to actually get to heaven. And then they're like, has anyone made it to heaven in the last like millions of years? And they're like, no. And then the one guy that they use as like the poster for like what a good person is, he doesn't even make it. And then they find out and they're like, wait, what? And so maybe there is, and I guess even in like when you transit from the Old Testament to the New Testament in the Bible, it is that energy where it's like, you know, things softened up. It's like Jesus had to come in order for there to almost be an understanding of what it is to actually be here and to have choice and to be in a world where so many things are true and not true and half true, and you never really quite know what's what, and we're always like doing our best. And like when I was talking earlier about how we do have to sort of weigh our own individual needs against the collective needs sometimes constantly, and it's like us doing our best to navigate that.
I seem to recall somehow from like Sunday school as a small child, the Old Testament is all about thy God is a God of war, eye for an eye. You know, that immediate reaction, you hurt me, I hurt you. New Testament is immediately, someone hurts me, turn the other cheek, tell them to hit the other cheek. It is that real, and that's that sense of the moment that there is something coming along that's, you know, transformative, change, wind of change blowing through. It's getting dark here. I can see a rain cloud. That's very exciting. I might have to leave you all. Patrick could do the rest of the reading and I'll just go outside and shower in the rain. It will be so lovely to cool off because it's just endlessly hot. It's just got really dark here and it's only 6:15. It doesn't get dark until 6 minutes past 7.
Yeah, that's why we started it now. You're like, I want to do it before I get started.
Right, I'm on my runes. Have you given me? You haven't, have you?
What?
What was at the base of yours? Oh, the graduation was the base.
Yeah, and then behind that, it's Justice into the Hangman again because she pops
Justice
out.
into the Hangman, though. That's really interesting because we're in Libra season. Mm-hmm. Justice going into the Hangman, going into the Via Combuster, that energy of the transformation that comes with Scorpio. I've got one rune so far. It's gone a long way away. But the wind's really picking up. I've got wind. The wind is picking up. And the trees are blowing. I've got oak. They're drawing me to the connection between Mercury being retrograde while Pluto comes out. Because remember, Mercury will be retrograde as each of the other 3 planets we're talking about go stationary direct. They're drawing me to these 2 cards together. So the wasp of Mercury is giving energy to Pluto. It's giving the support to Pluto to come out as something much stronger and much more beneficial. There's things crashing. And I'm being clouded in shadows now. It's got really dark. Let me see if I can turn this. I've got another light here. While Patrick talks to you, I'm going to try and fix this light.
Okay. It's really interesting that you pulled out the oak card because it's been sitting at the top of my little rune deck for a few days now since the last time I used it. And as soon as it came out, it reminded me it was Os, where they both went up.
Yes.
And then I got the Feyor,
Ash,
where
Oak,
like
Os.
one
Ash,
was up and one was down.
Yeah, Ash, Oak, and Os are the 3 that look similar.
Yeah. But I don't know, there's an energy. Also, like, this card was under the devil into the tower last time, and I didn't say anything about it, but now it's here again. Under justice into temperance, and it's what the 5 of Pentacles into the 6 of Pentacles, where they're being almost welcomed into. Wait, what? What is this?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's that energy of the Queen of Wands. You've got to graduate yourself in order to allow others into your own sacred space, maybe.
Okay.
I've put another light on, but it's slightly doing my head in. Look.
It feels like it's a bright one, like it's gonna make things really warm.
It's my Baldur light.
Baldur.
I don't put it on because it's a bit blind.
Do you have a shade for it?
It's got a shade, but it's a really weird metal light, and it's on a huge marble base, and it's got a huge string, metal pole, and then it hangs down, and you get up and you bang your head on it. It's just completely in the wrong place. I don't know whether I can.
Oh, I think I saw something similar to that when I was in.
It's a very strange light, like I'm being interrogated. I'll answer anything you ask me, Patrick. Or it's like Mastermind. Dun, 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 dun. Right, sorry, go on. I'm getting all silly.
You're getting what?
I'm getting all childish. There's a light doing weird things. I can't bear it. It's getting worse.
Can you like twist it to point it at you? I guess it would blind you then. You wouldn't be able to. I think. There you go. Yeah, well.
Well, we'll leave it like that. It's not blinding me. No, but then I'm dark. When I move forward, you can't see me. It's very important. Yeah, let's just leave it there. Go on, over to you.
So I was shuffling the Tarot Apocalypses, and the Queen of Cups came out, which is, I think it's Eris in this deck. And I think you've talked about Eris recently with her golden apple and not being invited to the party. Well, there was an energy of not being invited to the party before, but again,
I want to say to you immediately, Eris, Mercury, and Pluto are in a T-square at the moment. Now you're being very magic.
what?
They're in a T-square right now. She's in Aries. Eris is in Aries, and remember, she's the sister of Mars. So she's got all those attributes of, goddess of war frequency. Not invited to the party. There were 3 people in that party. The 2 at the front, they're like, shh. Eris is at the door. Don't look at her. Don't look at her. Maybe Eris is. Maybe we need to pull something on Eris. Let's just both do that. I'm going to go to Odin and the 9 realms and pull something on Eris, and just pull a different deck so that it's a completely different energy. I feel like she wants to be heard. It's not an energy I would usually have.
I'll use the after tarot because it's like after she's invited, right? Or is this before she's invited?
Oh my God.
I heard that one.
This thing's crashing. Eris is in the building, people. You're not happy.
Maybe we shouldn't invite her.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Eris. Oh, now look, that's really funny.
Os.
That's the one you just talked about.
Yeah, but the 2, because it came out. Was it Faye?
Did it have down up? Did it have down up? No, that's Ash.
So it was Ash, and then it was Os.
It's Yggdrasil.
Yeah, and then they both went up after something happened. And the Venom. Eris is welcome.
She's of Vanahamir 13 frequency. She is the 13 frequency. I need to look up where she is. If my iPad will let me press the button, because it's all gone a bit weird. You do your bit while I check out where Eris is. Just so that you all know, if you want to know where planets are now, the best site for looking at asteroids is Jessica Adams. Just saying.
So the card that came out in the after tarot, it's the Page of Wands.
Page of Wands.
Yeah. And so we had this one here, right? I feel like it's playing off of the sibling dynamic for some reason. But it's like if Eris was Mars and Mars was Eris. Because there's this energy where it's like, well, Mars is sort of like welcome and like we're basically the same, so why can't I come? Even though like depending, Mars wasn't really desired either. But in the Page of Wands in the after tarot, there's someone being like turned away almost, it feels like.
It looks a little bit like as well, like in the page, that him in the background holding the Ace of Wands could be he's going to Eris's graduation.
I like that. I don't like this. Well,
do you know what? After saying that Jessica Adams is great, she doesn't actually have Eris on her side.
I have an app. I think I have Eris. I think Eris is in Aries.
Yes, she is in Aries. I just don't know what number. I just wanted to know what number. It must be in the 20s because Mercury is at 23 Libra, I think. Pluto is at 23, 24 of Capricorn. So she's got
24.
24 Aries, probably.
Yep, 24, 26 retrograde in Aries right now.
She's retrograding as well.
Mm-hmm.
See, look, even more retrograde on the old asteroid front.
I think she's always in Aries though. Does she ever escape from it?
I'll be honest, I'm not great on all of the asteroids. I'm currently looking and learning about them.
Okay. Because every time, so I downloaded like an asteroid add-on to my thing. And every time I look at, are the rains falling now?
No, but it feels like a hurricane could be on. There's still no.
But it feels like she's always in Aries. It's like she'll go and then she'll retrograde back and then she'll go forward and retrograde back. And
I'm going to have to look at that because that's interesting.
Yeah. And I think for a lot of it too, because I would look at different dates and then just notice them. It seemed like Icarus was almost always in Aquarius, but I've actually seen it in Pisces. I don't know where it is now. I guess I could put it.
It's interesting because they must have an orbit, but it must be that their orbit somehow is so slow that they're barely moving. It's our position as we move around the sun that creates them being somewhere else.
Icarus is in Capricorn, but.
So I feel like on these two cards, it's like saying she is the new 13 frequency is the new vessel. It's like this is the opening of a change of frequency in the musical spheres to bring a greater sense of 13 frequency. It's getting really windy. There goes a slammy door again. There could be all hell breaking loose upstairs. I left all the doors open. I might go upstairs and find all my clothes that left the room and been washed outside. Swept out. Can you hear it?
Yeah. The
Eris,
slamming
she's
door.
not happy. She is.
This is her excited.
No, this is her just having a little bit of a light play with somebody.
Did you want to go close the doors? Did you see this Page of Wands? I don't know what the story is here.
No, I didn't. I was looking down. What's he got on his underneath? Has he got Bermuda shorts?
I mean, it's his little Page of Wands coat thing, you know. And then there's the individual in the back, sort of seeing him off too.
Yeah, you see, that's her again. That's exactly, you know, you had the woman graduating, and she's like, "It's my turn now. Go home."
Oh. Oh. See, and it's an energy. It's almost an energy of something maybe that she wants to discover for herself. It's like, don't tell me, like, I want to know. I want to go in fresh, open mind, no expectations.
And it's that frequency of people that like to learn themselves. They don't want to be taught.
Yeah. And because they don't want to be taught, they're a little bit harder to not condition, but
it's raining now.
Oh, there's the rain.
Yeah, it's gonna get really loud in a minute. I can feel it.
You want to see what the bottom of the deck is?
Yeah.
It's the Queen of Cups again.
So you've got two Queen of Cups. You see, now that's interesting again. Double Hermit on Mercury, double Queen of Cups. And Queens are 13 frequency because they're card 13. 10, 11, 12, 13. And that's, again, to me, that's this energy of the beloved, of emotions, of Pluto being benevolent.
Yeah. And there was the Six of Pentacles behind the Queen of Cups.
What's behind it?
The Six of Pentacles. And we have the 5 into the 6. Again,
the card that's I can't hear you over the rain.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So
thunder. I've got thunder.
Oh my gosh. Are we going to be able to finish this?
I'm just doing it. I don't care.
Do you want to close the doors upstairs?
Why not be able to? I really can't hear you.
So we have the 5 into the 6 of Pentacles down here, right?
I think we might have to stop and come back when it passes. We can do it in 2 parts, even if we have to do it tomorrow to complete it. At least we've got the Mercury part out the day before it goes. Oh no, it's calmed.
Has it?
You've got the 6 of Pentacles, flow.
Yeah, so on the other side, the card that came out with this Queen of Cups is the All Gifted, and it's Pandora in this deck. And so there is almost an energy. It's like, until everyone is here, nothing is, I don't know.
I feel like it's that energy of when they say when Pandora's box is open, all the demons come out, all of our shadows come out, and what's left in the bottom of the box, they always say is hope. But rather what's left in the bottom of the box is like the purity of emotion. Keep everyone entertained for a minute. I really just need to go and check that the water's not coming in through the doors. So okay. keep them going.
Wassail Beautiful People. All right. So I'm going to pull one of these Threads of Fate Oracle cards for Eris, because it feels like her presence, and I guess Eris would be interesting, because it's interesting that, again, like Mars would be accepted in a time where Eris isn't. The only difference between Eris and Mars is that they are siblings, and so like both carry that goddess of war energy. It's like, well, you know, Aries is a dude, so with him it's acceptable. And so there is almost an energy of it feels like something within feminine energy that wasn't allowed or given permission or the space to exist. And it's like, it's almost like the missing ingredient. It's almost like, well, that's why nothing ever worked. It's because this was gone. So in that way, it's a little bit of Black Moon, Dark Moon, Lilith.
Oh, I love a bit of her. I was actually, to be honest, I thought hell was going to come out. Hell broke loose in the house.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to pull an Odin on, oh, what's that?
The universe.
You see, a change in the universe. Almost puppeteering in yours, like the cogs have got stuck, and you've got to cut the threads to ghost dance energy. You've got to let go of the past. You've got to accept that the past is done and not allow it to keep interfering with your present so that it blocks your future.
And maybe that's why she doesn't want to know what this energy was before. And I guess in that, it's almost like for Eris to finally be welcomed. Oh, for Eris.
For Eris
to be welcomed to the party finally. It's almost like a significant enough shift had to occur within that dynamic to welcome her. And so for her to go into it thinking that it was what it was when she was never allowed into it, it's almost an understanding of the change just because of the invitation that was sent, in a way.
Yeah, and I'm also wanting to say, it's all very well to say she wasn't invited to the party, but what if she was invited and she said, I don't like your parties, I'm not coming.
So then the party's got more fun and now she wants to go?
No, now they've changed the way they party and she's willing. Maybe her absence was a way of forcing change in the others. Because Vanahamir has been very absent during Asgard. This is 13 frequency. It's been very absent. Pure, beautiful creativity that comes with the borderless society has been very absent. And maybe it's very absent gives people a pining. You know, has anyone seen Eris lately? No, she never comes to these parties. Oh, I wish she would come. Well, she won't because she doesn't like the way we all you know, get drunk and throw up in the garden or something. I don't know.
I like that because it happened. I don't know, remember when, but like Dark Moon Lilith to me almost started to become like a light moon Lilith in a way. And I saw it in the Liberation card in the Magical Dimensions. I guess I'll grab it and show you because I think I went looking for Lilith one day and she was like liberated into the light. I was like, wait, what?
Well, I remember the reading for the Pink Moon Pluto, and we're in Pluto at the moment. In that, she revealed herself to be both Dark Moon Lilith and Light Moon Lilith. And she came, they showed me a black camel and a white camel, showing the two different energies of yin and yang nourishment.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. I was like, oh, snap. Where did he? Oh.
Who was that you just showed me?
That was the Liberation card.
Yeah,
so maybe she is turning them away.
Yeah, I kind of think he went and she was having her own party at home, flinging a hat in the air. And he went, are you coming? I've got a torch. I'll take you to the party. She went, I don't like your parties, Mars.
And she was in between Oneness and Utopia, 30 and 43. Oh, let's see.
You see, there you go. She was between Oneness and Utopia. She was alone having her own 13 frequency party. She doesn't, you know what it is? She don't like their music. That's what that hermit is about. She's like, thank you, tunes, I'll come along. But I'm not listening to your old rubbish.
And then it's almost like you don't think anything of it until someone points it out, and then you really listen to it like, well, we thought this is great. Why would why would somebody not love this?
Yeah,
and then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I kind of see it now.
That's like me not liking this music that I've always loved. As soon as that album came on, I didn't like it.
13 empowerment.
13 empowerment. What a perfect number for empowerment. I'm pulling an Odin for Pluto.
With the 22 Ice Queen at the bottom of the deck. She's my favorite.
Ooh, it's coming underneath. You know how we said Mercury's letting go of this?
Mm-hmm.
This card's coming underneath for Pluto. The shadows. Time to let go of the shadows. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they just used to play really old rubbish music by the Shadows. And she's like, I'm not coming to your parties. You keep doing that forwards, backwards dance. I'm not interested. Modern up or I ain't coming.
I love that for Eris. And maybe this is like other people wanting to go to her party now.
Oh, she's like, I built myself a much better pleasure palace. But she don't invite everyone. So yeah, welcome. You are not coming in my home. I've seen what you did to the pool down the road.
Eris, she's on the other side of stankiness now.
Yeah.
She's doing the sniffing. Yeah.
She's the Ophalagoo. She's the Ophalagoo everyone wants. Right, should we do Saturn?
Yes. Oh no, I have these. I'm gonna put these back really quick.
Right, I'm gonna rifle my cards. Can't believe that I've waited forever for a storm so that I could rush outside and celebrate and sing. And now I'm sitting here with you lot. Not you, Patrick. Them. I love you.
We appreciate you for being here.
I love
sacrificing your rain time for us.
Absolutely.
When it's so hot and humid and you're always sweaty, and to give it up to be here with us now. That's some real Saturnian restraint you're showing right now, Russ. I appreciate it. Oh, wait, what? Oh, well, it's Saturn, so.
It's Saturn. But this is the interesting thing. Saturn has a hexagonal hurricane on its north pole, and it's shaped like a hexagon. So it has a central spin and then 6 vortices that create the hexagon shape. They've only known about it being there for about 40 years. but it could have been there for hundreds. They don't know, but they'd only just spotted it. And then in the last few years, it's doubled in size and grown taller, and it's changed from the color blue to gold. So anyone that tells me that Saturn hasn't changed as a frequency in astrology, he's not looking at the evidence of the actual planet. It has changed. It's resonating a different song in itself. It's got a hexagonal compact disc. It's the Eris's party. It's 55. We're getting a lot of message of change. Fives. And the curse was a 5. So the running theme so far that I've got in all my cards is there's a 5 of change in every one of them.
And I guess it'll be a little bit more interesting when we get to Jupiter, because Jupiter is like, especially out of this bunch of planets, it's the only one where we're like, oh yeah, like Jupiter is nice, it blesses us, full of fortune, like, you know, money and expansion and good times.
It's the only one that's a kind of link up between a personal planet and an outside planet. It's getting loud in here again. Really?
Oh, it just got bright.
Huh?
It just got bright.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, now it's different.
Me as I move forward. I sat here so that I wouldn't have that light dark effect going on. And then the whole outside world got dark. Oh, I was going to turn the bottom card over and I started shuffling them.
Ooh, Saturn in the upper world? Okay.
Saturn is the upper world in many ways, but it's also 5559. Frequency 59. And 14 frequencies, we were saying, is that energy of inevitability from cosmos. It's very Uranian, the energy. It comes in and it busts through things and there's nothing you can do to stop it.
I don't know if I want this card. It almost fell onto the floor, but it didn't. It like slid off the top. Well, we were talking about Eris's party, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And how Saturn is there. It's the 3 into the 4 of Wands. Heard that.
Yeah.
And it's like it's heading up there. To the upper world, I guess, maybe. Because it's they gotta go up the side of the mountain.
They're gonna go up a very long mountain. And they're heading to the moon. You see, I can't remember where the moon is on that day, but on the 6th, it's in Libra, and it takes 3 days. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's probably in Sagittarius.
On when Saturn goes stationary?
Yeah.
The moon is in Sagittarius. So 26
guessing.
degrees.
Oh, okay. I was guessing.
Yeah.
I can't open my iPad at the moment.
Yep. There it is.
Well, I wasn't guessing. Oh, perfect.
Nice.
I need to get my open. See, this is why, clearly, I sent you these helpful charts. Because it won't open.
It's protected. It's the rune. It's the sigil.
I think I haven't got an invite to Eris's party.
Of course you're invited, Russ.
I know. I'm the band.
I was gonna look at the bottom. Oh no. So the 7 of Swords into the 8 of Swords is the card that came out.
7 of Swords into the 8 of Swords.
Yeah. And at the bottom of the deck, it's the 2 of Wands into the 3 of Wands. And behind that is our hermit with the Wheel of Fortune.
Again, oh yeah.
So there is a singing a new tune.
I wanted to say that the Seven of Swords into the Eight of Swords, very much again, I know we're playing real jokes on this, but that's how energies work with the cosmos. It is far funnier the way in which it tells its stories. And I often say you should look at all the houses as being houses. You should decorate them. You should work out who rules which house, where they are now. Do they like being there? But I really got that sense again of that was Mars being ejected. Because to leave something, the Seven of Swords, is to exit. There's something of a look of thunder, like he wasn't invited.
Oh no! See, but now he's gonna 8 of Swords and then 9 of Swords. He's gonna be like, well, why wasn't I invited? Like, everybody loves me. Like, Mars is great. Like, you know, God, there was a whole time where people were just war. Like, I was celebrated.
Yeah.
What happened? What changed?
He looks pissed off.
Yeah.
He does. But look, he needs to remember that once upon a time, Eris was celebrated. I know, you see, the thing is, is that him walking away with Eris, or is it her taking him outside and just saying, go home, brother, I'm not interested? The thing is, he's going to be welcomed back into the fold, because if she's in Aries, when Mars gets round to being in the Aquarium stellium, when it finally arrives, is something like the 5th of April. So it's when the life force is in Aries, when Eris is. He's not being kicked out. He's almost like the magician. I always tell that story, which is there was a void and then there was the magician comes out and he creates the whole world, the whole cosmos with all the elements. And then he stands there and he says, oh, I'm rather proud of that. And he's never felt anything of an emotion before. All he's wanted to do was to be the only thing to survive everything. And that's very Mars-like. It's very Aryan energy to sort of ram into something. And then suddenly the high priestess comes crashing in and she says to him, look at what you built. It's really lovely, but you're a selfish bastard. Now go away until you've learned some emotions. It's a little bit like Eris is saying to Mars, you've always been a bit of a bully. Go away and learn to be nice so you're not coming to my party.
And then, I don't know, it makes me think, because this is here again, I guess preceding that. I don't know. It's this energy. It feels like she's able to produce light, and he's like back here with the unlit wands. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what
I'm getting. No, do you know what I'm getting from that? I'm getting from that. That's like a picture that mum and dad have on their grand piano in the home. And he's like, I hate that picture.
Oh,
they loved my sister more than
they loved me.
I wasn't as good as her, so I'm going to take over.
I've never felt worse for Mars. I've never empathized more.
Bring back war! Bring back war!
No.
Everything comes to an end. It's all cycles. He's just remembering. He's remembering childhood. He's like, oh, I never liked my sister.
Well, there was something about
weird room.
Ooh. Did you know that was it was the other one that you just talked about? Was it Tuartness or Onwardness?
Yeah, with the Gununga gap in the middle. It's like it's like that plus some.
Plus a lot.
It's meant to be a representation of all runes are hidden inside there.
There's almost
lightning. I get so excited by storms.
Okay, well, we'll try to speed it up so you can.
No, I'm fine. I just
What
want
if it? Okay.
just as an aside about the storms, the current one that they're watching is called Storm Sam. That's over the Atlantic. It won't get it for another week or more. But the next one that's forming, because there's only 3 left, is Terence or Teresa. And then the second to last one that I'm waiting for, which is going to excite me, is named after my dad, Storm Victor. And there's the thunder. Go on about the All Rune.
Oh, so it feels like with that Ganunga gap in the middle, there's like it feels like this XYZ energy where it's like expanding in all directions. But in the X and the Y direction, it encounters those 2 walls on the outside. But with the Z in the middle, it's almost like it's unrestricted to expand upwards and downwards indefinitely. Yeah.
You can see how the others are hidden in there. I feel a little bit like this is a little bit like having the understanding of all energy. It's almost like, this is weird to say because of my mother. It's almost like Mars has gone through knowing everything, understanding all the powers of everything, and then he just got lost, abused the power, and he's almost now, he's forgotten how to put all the pieces back together, almost like he's got a little bit of dementia going on. That his greatness that we talked about just isn't great anymore. It's almost like he's being shut out. I know we've been joking about it, but often that is how the energies come forwards. This is a barrier as much as it's the magic. If you can't see the magic in those lines, you can't control it. It's merely a blockage. It's like he's forgotten how to sing the song, going back to your hermit. Was one hermit a man and one hermit a woman?
Yeah, because the hermit came out in the other deck. She was the one that was actually playing the music. He was the one that was sitting in the middle of it. Let me see if I can find it.
Because no one wants his music anymore.
Oh, Justice and the Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck, though. That's
a lot of pulled energy. We noticed that air energy in all of the charts when we were looking, like 15 air elements.
Yeah, 15. Well, first it was what, 19 for when Pluto goes, or was it the new moon? It was 19.
15,
or was it when Pluto?
15 air on the new moon, 14 air on Saturn going, and then I forgot only there, and then 14 air when Jupiter. So we lose one air. We lose one air when Pluto turns.
It's probably the last one. Let me see if I can find it. Because it was like she was playing the music.
Yeah, and I want to say that's Mars and Eris again. It's almost, I want to say, look, let's take out the notion of being brothers and sisters. They're almost representing 2 different versions of an attitude to war. There's a war that is offensive, aggressive, and then there's war like Minerva type of war as a goddess, and that's about defensive war. If you attack me, I will attack you back, but otherwise, I'm quite passive.
She was in between the Lovers and the Prince of Wands. And it's interesting because I guess in the Lovers card, like between the 2 of these, there is an energy of maybe in the way that Mars needs to receive it. It's almost like if you want Mars to do something, you got to use reverse psychology.
Yeah.
Because if you just tell him to do it, he won't.
Exactly.
Because it's like she's trying to elevate him in the Lovers, and then the Prince of Wands, again, it's that energy of like holding on to the status that he used to have, like firmly gripping the wand. Huh?
I've got a big stick.
Oh. I mean, it's, it's your Prince of Wands energy.
Yeah,
but here's the Hermit in between the 2 of these. So maybe it is her song that actually elevates him.
And it's reminded me of a reading I did that was about the inner planets and how Mercury, Mars, and Venus, they're always very close to the sun. And so they're always very, within a house or two of the sun. And they move and they interweave with each other. And a while back, I was saying how Venus was coming up to Mars and saying, here's the new song, here's the new hymn sheet. And he was like, I'm not interested. I've got to do this thing. So I keep calling him a rogue agent.
That's the one with the statue in the back, right?
Yeah.
Well, Mercury is about to have that second conjunction.
Yes,
like Mars too.
If it gets really exciting, I'll turn the light off and you only get to see me every time there's a flash of lightning.
But this is supposed to be Saturn.
Yeah, this is Saturn.
So what is Saturn doing? What if Saturn is almost like it's almost like it's the definition. It's like almost like by definition, Saturn rules relationships because we call them bonds, or because we think of them as things that sort of tie us together. It's almost like there is a boundary that forms in between two entities that are connected by something.
Yeah. I'm looking at Saturn behind you and thinking, as you're talking about a barrier, that the rings. Because rings are associated with affection, with marriage, but they're also, they're very much this energy of ownership rather than partnership. And it feels to me like Saturn's old energy was ownership. Saturn's new energy is partnership because it's in Aquarius. I know, I've never thought that before. I'm just going to go to sleep now because I feel like my work is done. Right, I'm trying to pull an Odin card, but they're being a bit sticky. Saturn. Oh, I don't know how to read this one. William Vey. Lightning. This is William Vey. William Vey are brothers. And William Vey, with their other brother, Odin, killed Ymir, the hermaphrodite Jotan giant, and they created all the physical world. And often, it's linear time. The physical world runs on linear. Can you hear that thunder? Cool, that means it'll be on the video. I'm being drawn to orange shoes, brown shoes, and I've got really no idea about that. It's like, they look like a pair of old stinky hippies. It's the energy that I'm getting. And again, it's like, do you know what? It's like they stole Saturn's ball and they've got to give it back. It's like something went over into the wrong garden and you have to go knock on the door and you go, can I have my ball back? And the neighbours go, no, you can't, because I hate children and I don't want you playing outside making all that racket. And it's like, finally, the bad people have got to give the ball back to everyone else. The truth of the energy of this card is, it feels like the world being given back to the collective. But they are showing me patchouli oiled, stank nest hippies who took the children's ball and they wouldn't give it back.
Well, that reminds me, it makes me think of two things. First is the text that you sent me earlier. If Saturn gets his ball back, it's going to come in the form of Venus. Because she was what was birthed from it when it fell into the ocean.
Yes. When Jupiter cut his genitals off.
Yeah.
And he threw them into the sea, and from the foam grew Venus or Aphrodite, who is in Anarishtar.
Yeah. Well, I don't have the Empress out.
But look what I've just noticed on these two Saturn cards. It's the inevitability of the music of the spheres, the upper world energies, to return the Earth refreshed. It's also interesting that I know the woman lived in, I believe she lived in the United States of America, but it's just kind of interesting that this is where I am now. It's this particular. I've never, you know, it's never had a relevance to me before, but suddenly I'm smack bang in the middle of that world.
It also makes me think of the Weird Rune, how like everything almost originates from the void, which was the body of Ymir, how they created Midgard and everything else. Yeah.
I just turned over the cards at the bottom. 13.
I like that.
So it's like the whole of Saturn is a spiritual journey, almost to return lost knowledge, lost magic, lost all sorts of lost frequencies. They weren't lost. They just weren't meant to be here for the last period of time. They're just being returned because they're part of the energy of the future. You got me some more cards?
Oh, let's see. I'll pick this up. Oh. Ancestors.
There now.
And they're in this. See, the feet and the roots are down here, but the rest of the body, the majority, it's like it's up here. It's almost that. I don't know why it keeps making me think of Lafruma. But it's like, and with that upper world energy, the main body of the ancestor is sort of up here.
Yeah.
And when things grow, they grow from the root, right? And so it's like she'll just get taller and taller and taller, but it'll never necessarily like come down.
There is an energy of the ancestor, like these are ancestors, holding the globe. There's an energy of that. But also, your first card that was strength was when the two energies of the roots and the leaves were compressed and there was no trunk.
Yeah.
Now the trunk's there. It's like growth, development. It's that energy of growing up that we had with Kanafa. What's that one?
Ascension.
Oh, I see.
But there's a really thready sort of energy here. Oh, I guess it's kind of sort of there too a little bit.
Yeah, it's norm frequency in many ways. Because the norms tell you there's a destiny. The norms don't tell you that you have karma to pay off. Everything you do, you were meant to do because the norms already stitched it. I know that's a whole bag of monkey nuts that people don't want to go down because it's like saying you have no free will, but we won't worry about that for the moment. We'll just gloss over that one. Oh, look. I've got 14 and 13. So it's almost like the upper world, 14 inevitability consciousness comes in with something that brings about 13 frequency. Should we do Jupiter soon?
Yeah.
You can finish doing this one. I'm not trying to.
No, it's all right. Because I don't know, it's almost feeling that like that 14, there's some element of 14 that feels like that feels like it's present as 13 as the crow. And when we get to 13, we'll actually see that what we saw as 13 when we were at 12 is going to be 14.
Yes. Like going up a dimensional understanding. I'm going to turn this light off and see if we can see, because then I think you'll see flashes. It's exciting. It's like energetic change. Am I too dark? No, I'm all right now-ish.
Yeah, you're fine.
So Jupiter. Jupiter, where are you at? What are you doing, my friend? What's the energy you want to discuss with us? Oh, wasn't expecting that one. It's 44. We started off with Mercury on 4 with the Beauty Way. The Ghost Dance, which was the Ancestors, was 22, which is 4. Now I've got 44.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, but it's a transformation. It's what are you willing to let go of in order to create space to be something else? It's like Jupiter's got a whole sack of presents, like Jupiter claws or Santa Jupiter, and he's got all these toys, and he's like, but you can't have them until you decide which toys you're going to give to the poorer kids. And that's a bit of a dilemma for children, because they just want to keep all their toys.
Yeah, well, it reminds me, I feel like maybe it was like an ad somewhere of like a kid who wanted other kids to have presents on Christmas, so like they came up with the fundraiser, or like they go through the toys that they don't play with anymore, and it's like, you know, they're sort of like, I don't want to say conditioned, raised, trained to, like, you know, before you get new toys, like, let's give away some of the old ones that are in good condition that you don't play with anymore. And it's almost like that becomes the moment where we, like, it's less about hoarding and more about, it's almost like a Six of Pentacles energy. It's like giving and receiving to continue to have the room to actually accept more. Because, like, if your room is full of toys, there's nowhere to put the new ones.
No. A ginkgo just ran in.
A what?
A little ginkgo lizard.
Oh.
Just came running in. They're about transformation. And this is about transformation. What I wanted to also say when you were saying that was, what we forget about toys are, toys, yeah, it just traveled along the floor.
Okay.
Really quick. What we forget about toys to children are currency. Because you don't have money as a child, but you have toys, and you can use toys to entice people to be your friend. What are the things that you use to entice people to be your friend that don't actually, they're pointless, that we're using? See, I'm not going to be your friend just because you've got a little ginkgo on your shoulder that's furry.
I actually got this one from a friend.
Oh.
It was the first time I met, well, she's I guess my best friend's girlfriend. And like, we had known each other by proxy for years. But the first time I actually met her, she was like, hey, I got this for you. And I was like, what? It's a little gecko. And I've never really had a reason to, I mean, I appreciate him, of course, but.
He had a purpose. He's a green ginkgo.
There we go. Oh, you can't see him now.
I can't see his little face now. I could see his face before. So what have you got coming out? What have you got in your transformative energy? Because this is a transformation.
Oh.
I feel like it's an ancestral transformation. You just had the ancestor card. The ghost dance was 22, which is ancestors. This is 44. Ah, look, also 4, if you put a little bend in it, is the symbol of Jupiter.
Jupiter, yeah. I've been writing 2021 a lot, and every time I do the 21, sometimes it looks like a Jupiter.
Nice.
So the one of the title cards for this deck just fell onto the floor, and I picked it up in reverse. It came up, and another card came up, and it's the one with the Fool on it, where you can see like,
oh yeah, the cover deck.
Yeah, and the other card, it's the 9 into the 10 of Wands.
The 9 into the 10 of Wands.
There's a lot of wands in all of this.
Well, do you know what's interesting? There's no fire in the elements.
Oh yeah.
When Pluto turns around, there's no fire at all. But did you have, and then from there on in, the fire begins to rise from Saturn and Jupiter.
Wait, Eris came out at the end of Pluto, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's what you said. It's like, I think I saw a flash, maybe.
There was a big flash.
And like you said, like Pluto was bringing the fire, and it immediately came out sort of with Eris.
Yes.
At the end of that, and then it's been, what was that?
I went through my entire sacral and pelvis. That was phenomenal. I'm getting a bit overexcited now. Yeah.
Well, at the bottom of the deck, it's the Ace of Wands into the Two of Wands, and behind that is this card again. So
yeah, look, Two of Wands into 3 people. It feels like there's, look, it's the image as they come out together. Because there's 3 planets coming out, but actually, weirdly, when Jupiter comes out on the same day as Mercury. So before, we were just not dealing with Mercury because Mercury was staying retrograde. So to begin with, the first time that card came out, it was saying it was, I know we talked about it as being Eris and her party things, but also it was saying Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn weren't together. The first one that was out was Pluto standing in the doorway. And now we've got that sense of Saturn and Jupiter. We've also got that sense that Mercury's coming out now and is ready to go with Saturn to Eris's party. It's like a whole energetic transformation taking place.
And that is, I don't know, because the Ace into the 2, the 9 into the 10, it feels like there's some kind of, I don't know, healing that happened in between there. Maybe.
I feel like the hand in the sky bringing the thing down is trying to spark up and burn characters. It's like even her below. It's like, it's kind of, they're saying it's an awakening. Didn't you have what was the ascension?
Yeah, the awakening, ascension. What's back in the deck now, but the ancestors are still at the bottom.
But that energy of the 2 of them kind of trying to bring new ecstatic vision to a kind of a spiritual world. It's almost like saying all these people that say, I had my spiritual awakening 12 years ago, 15 years ago, and then it's been a really difficult, troubled energy. This is about bringing a new fiery passion so that people can move on and actually clear the burdens that have accumulated during their spiritual awakening. Because no one ever wants to say that. No one ever wants to say, I had an awakening 10 years ago, and for the last 8 years, my life's been terrible. People only want to say, it's all been great. And I do have people that follow me who will say, since my awakening, life has been really difficult. But it feels like that energy is that it's going to change now. It's almost like your alarm clock went off before it was meant to. You know, like you have sleeper agents. Someone gave you your code too early.
Gotcha.
And the actual world wasn't at the frequency that you needed to be at. This feels like the world's coming into a new frequency that will wake up more people. But if you were awake, you will begin to feel comfort. That original card you had of the comfort energy around it was the tower, it was the devil going into the tower.
Oh, with the glass.
Yeah, can you imagine being stuck from an awakening between the devil and the tower for so long that everything feels as though it's going off like rotten fruit? And you were just stuck there. And now finally we're at the energy where it can move.
It's almost like you were in it long enough to realize that you were actually in it. Because in Temperance into the Devil, they were just in the tree. They didn't realize that they were actually inside the, yeah.
They're big rumbles of thunder. So on the bottom of my deck, I've got Sphere, which is 4/5. So I've got, between Jupiter is bringing 4, 4, 4, and then it's got its 5. There's a 5 of change on every single planetary body that we've got.
4, 4, 4, 5. I kind of like that. Because the 4, 4, 4, with 4 being a number that can represent stability, it does feel like a sort of stagnancy. 4, 4, 4, and then the 5, it's like something changes.
Yeah, you add something. And it's weird, in a way, look, Mercury, we said earlier, was the fanfare. But so Mercury began with 4, 4, and then 1, 4, making 5. Mercury's bringing the extra element that activates the change. Before, I was saying that I thought Mercury was coming to take something away, but I think what you said is right. There's a stagnancy to just healing and healing and healing, which is what 4 frequency is. To lie down like the 4 of Swords and just heal and just heal and just heal. At what point are you going to get up and actually engage in a life?
And I feel like there's something, I can't remember what you said last time, but it's in this card. I keep looking at it. It's like the wands have burned out, but the light from within is like it's on now. Like these two down here, like they're burned out, but there's a light here. And that's, I mean, it's the same light. It's a lot bigger here. I guess it was this way.
Yeah.
It's the same light that's here.
Is it not Eris giving back the light to Mars?
I think it is.
Because I felt Mars and Eris here. They're not looking at each other. And then in your card, their hearts are back together.
But there is something like with this, it's like something, the title card for me, it can mean a lot of things. It's the space of the things that we don't know sometimes for good reason. And especially with it being in reverse, it's like something happens that turns everything on its head. And it's that 4, 4, 4, 5. Now all of a sudden Pluto is coming out with the beloved and talking about love and stuff. Like what?
Exactly. No, that was my emoji shrug. Also, for me, title cards when they're in are like the pre-incarnation contract, something that was an inevitability, 14 frequency, something that was written, and it's almost like it was like you've been reading it that way, but actually, if you just turned it around, you'd see there was a different story. You've just been so used to the 444 version of writing up that way that when you reverse it, suddenly you go, oh, look, that's what's really in the contract. It's like seeing the small print suddenly.
Is it Where's the glyph for Saturn? Does it almost look like it could be an upside down 4? And then it has a line at the top. It's like that.
It's an H with a thing through it.
Yeah.
I didn't put them on my cards, stupidly. I just wrote F.
Oh.
I should have put them on the cards. I do them cards again.
But an H is kind of sort of like an upside down 4.
Yeah.
It can be.
But also, we need to remember Saturn gave birth to Jupiter. Jupiter then got annoyed with his dad because he thought he was old hat, like we all do as kids. But we don't all cut their genitals off and throw them in the sea to make a goddess. That's the one thing. Don't do it. Anyone was thinking of it. But Jupiter did it to Saturn. Sorry.
Well, Saturn did it to his father, minus the cutting off of the genitals part, you know. He overthrew it wasn't Uranus, was it?
Yeah.
Oh. Wow.
But well, no, the thing is, he didn't really overthrow him. I can't remember what the word is. My book upstairs has got the name in it. But Uranus is there's a special name for gods that have just had their sick of ruling, and so they just retire.
What?
So they've still got mighty god energy, but they just step back. But when they come in and want to do something with that energy, they're more powerful than their children. And that's why I always call Gaia Uranus, is because originally there was just Gaia, and Gaia births Uranus, and then together they create the whole Parthenon of gods. And we call, you know, the planet Uranus, but really it's both. It's the energy of mother and father. It's got to be both frequencies to me.
And it's going to be retrograde until January.
Until I've got that written down somewhere. Hang on, if I can click my button, I can. Oh no, look, I can. I'm on the right thing. Give me a second, I'll pull it up for you. So, until the 19th of January. Ceres is retrograde. No, Ceres isn't. Chiron is what I meant to say. Until the 20th of December. Neptune's until the 2nd of December. So they're all coming out. The last one to come out is Gaia.
Uranus.
There you go, see?
I almost said Uranus.
You know, someone once said to me that I shouldn't be shy about saying Uranus. I said,
I remember that.
I've never been shy about saying Uranus.
You're like, I'm a gay guy. I'm not afraid of an anus. I remember
Exactly.
that.
You didn't get very far in my world. So, I'm doing runes. Oh, look. Now, would you think that was coming out for Jupiter?
That's the Saturn thing.
It's almost got a lot of that in it. Yeah, it is.
It's 2 of them, but they connect at the thing.
Yeah, that's interesting. I want to say, though, that what they're showing me about this is it turned dark. It's time to turn the other way. It's almost like Eris and Mars being pulled back together by Grandpa. I'm not saying he is their grandpa. I get in a muddle with all the interrelationships in the pantheon of gods. But there's something about the whole cosmos just saying, can you go over this, please?
No, I don't think that, yeah, there's, because with the owl and Villoldo into, what was it? Villoldo and the other card.
And the crow.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a little bit of an energy of inevitability throughout all of this. So
you see, I want to say spirits crow pecking, like hen pecking. It's a little tug, a little cheep, 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 cheep.
Tug a little more.
Good night, ladies. And I got that one. But that's a bloody 4.
Is it really? Oh. And is the crow 13?
Yeah.
1331 mirror number.
1331.
Palindrome.
Oh, look. Spirit ain't leaving no tracks behind.
Because they're flying.
Exactly. It's like, what do you
But
mean?
wait. Because that's almost an energy. That's interesting. That feels like a seeding energy then. Like there's something that's been here, but there weren't any tracks left for us to be able to see it.
A bit like those footsteps that turned up in New Mexico. The oldest footsteps in the Americas.
Oh, yeah. And it's like people have been in the Americas for a lot longer than we thought. And it was mostly teenagers and young kids going back.
Yeah, do you know what though? I don't agree with that teenagers part. I think that was the one really weird part of that story. It's just like, no, it was just people with small feet.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I mean, they do like Lucy the Australopithecus was tiny. Right?
Well, look, I've seen people here who are indigenous. They're half the size of me.
Mm.
There's something a bit weird about going there. We're just loads of kids, but we don't know what they were doing there. We're just smaller adults. Because it's not like you leave a little bit of toe jam or something in the footprint so that they can actually check your DNA and go, no, this was a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
It's just a footprint size. And yet they're going, they're definitely teenagers. No, humanity got a lot bigger all over the world now. You're judging it by the wrong standards. They're making me want to pull out. It's like, look, you're armed with all the information, but you're making mistakes. Like the academic world has all this wonderful information, and yet somehow they're just saying the wrong stuff. That's an aside, I think. Back to that. You were on that.
It doesn't leave tracks. Well, the card that came out over here, it's release. And it's interesting for the leaves that were close to the ground and then the ancestors where it was taller.
Yes.
And it's on top of the leaves that were on the ground.
Yeah, I feel like it's your title card being turned upside down.
Oh.
Interesting.
That feels like it's...
That, hold it there for a minute, feels like where we started.
Oh. Okay. And death is 13, releases a death energy, right? That's a 4.
Yeah.
Wow. So wait. So if this is supposed to be up top, then what's happening in the shadows?
Do you know what that looks like? It looks like upside down lungs. It's like the new life is being breathed into everything. It's air frequency, it's breath.
What's at the bottom? Oh, higher perspective.
Huh?
Higher perspective.
Higher perspective. That's this. Look, hold on, look. It's also got a croissant on it.
Yeah, upper world. That's what it was. I can't remember.
Yeah, but that looks like a winged croissant. It's also got, if you look at it, it's got like a big long moustache. No, turn it up the other way a minute. It's got a big long moustache, and then it's got these 2 bits that come up with eyes, nose, and a mouth. It's kind of like a moustached panda or something. But it is that.
Oh my gosh, look at the shape of it though. You see the shape? Hold up, wait. Okay, yeah. I gotta look at it so I can
see a pyramid.
Yeah, maybe it's like it's inside of the glass one.
It's who let the dogs out. I definitely see some kind of cute little Aussie creature hidden inside that, wearing a false moustache, like it doesn't want to be recognised. A little bit like this energy. It's like, you know, I didn't leave that behind. I was flying. That wasn't me. There's something about the natural world in disguise, is what I'm hearing. Maybe it brings an unveiling, because your very early tower card going in, no, devil going into the tower, we said about there being an unveiling, a curtain being raised, going behind the scenes to see the truth of something. Maybe that's what when Jupiter and Mercury finally come out in this series, that somehow we understand the mechanics of things different, the engineering behind structure.
And it's like behind the scenes, things are a lot darker because a lot of the light is out on the stage.
Oh, and that's me with my dark and light troubles.
And Jupiter, it came out with the sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
So it's like there's a suspension of disbelief that we have to enjoy the show. But when we get that backstage view, we no longer have to suspend it. It's like we can connect the dots because we see everything as it's moving and happening.
And that's Neptune energy, because it's revealing the illusion. It's magician frequency. You were plagued with magicians in that reading the other day.
Yeah.
Magi over and over again, or you had numbers, aces and things like that. I've got my
Ran.
Which is
German. Is that Ran? No. Raid.
I mean, rad is what a lot of people call it, but I think it's rad. I love to say raid. I thought, right. It's being carried along by emotions regardless. That's the energy that I get. It's like, look, it's not that you need to let go and transform, you will. There's an inevitability about 14 frequency that just says there's nothing you can do to stop this. Fight it and have a terrible time, or just go with the flow and allow the changes. There is a sense of a lot of discomfortable energies coming for people because they can't accept change. But if you can just accept change, because you've been forearmed, you've been warned by going into this cosmic energy, there's big changes coming. There's a big sort of changing of the guard, you know, different energies stepping up that weren't given their power. Us coming into energies and powers that, even if we woke up a long time ago, didn't work properly.
And there's something about Crow Lady not leaving no footprints in the raid card.
I think it's actually about not worrying about what footprint she left, maybe. Maybe Crow doesn't give a damn. So what?
Maybe Crow's like dragging her, or not like flying her away. Like, stop, sort of like almost like not treading the same path, but it's like Crow comes in, attaches to her head, and just like flies her.
Carried by birds.
Yeah. It reminds me of James and the Giant Peach.
Yeah. But I feel like I'm being drawn to pick up the beloved again, because that's about lifting of emotions, being cared for. I think that's a part of it. I think I'm sensing this thing that we're going to, things will come as we move towards the end of this year, because we've still got those other planets to come out of retrograde. We're just dealing with the ones in Libra season. But there's going to be things that will bring an element of spiritual doubt, and yet Spirit is trying to say, I'm trying to help you all through inevitable changes. These changes have to happen. Don't fight it, flow with it. I feel like I want one more sham. Oh! I've got two, but they're so gorgeous. I don't know which way around to hold them, but basically.
Oh, under the rainbow.
That's beautiful. Or maybe it's this way around.
Rainbow thunder.
They're racing towards inevitable crash. That's beautiful. I'm getting that sense as well. Blue lunar storm that passed and yellow seed.
There's something about that. Oh, maybe it's a spark. And the thunder card, it's like where the two bodies meet, that like speck of light.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when Flint and Tinder meet.
It could almost be a pearl of wisdom. There's almost a circle really hidden in that, as if to say at the point of these, you know, you could say that it's Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto again. But there's something beautiful and wise. And this card has 1, 2, 3, 4. This one has almost like the sun, or you could say Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, and Mercury. But it's definitely talking about, I want to say, like the thunder was, these two cards, when they hit, it's like the crash of the cymbals. You know, it doesn't matter how calm and beautiful the piece of music is, when a crash of cymbals comes in, it jolts you awake.
Why does that remind me of bioenergetics? I took I guess it was a biology class, but we talked about photosynthesis. But there was this really just like extremely dull monotone professor who was going on and on and on. And then he just yells, bioenergetics! And he runs from one end of the lecture hall to the other. Wakes everybody up. Like, but there is something, and maybe it's like it's between the bodies where that thing happens. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're talking about now. Like it was hidden in there.
Yeah, but it is between the bodies. Maybe it's the new growth that comes at the meeting of two eras or two epochs or two energies. It's like when they say if two people are in a wise energy of self-love, when they come together, they support each other. They don't rely on each other as such. It's not a toxic relationship, but by bringing two well-adjusted sacrals together, you create two individuals and a third new energy.
It's almost like
blue lunar storm meeting yellow electric seed. It's the passing of time.
It feels like interspatial expansion or something, because like it's an expansion that can only occur in the way that you said it, and it's almost like, well, the conditions in the environment weren't necessarily such that it would ever occur or happen, where there would be like two well-adjusted people. Maybe it's because of distance or space, but you know, because of the internet, we can, I mean, I'm talking to you, I've met you and everybody, right? And it's like, it's the chorus or the harmony of everything that's sort of happening and playing out, and what all of it happening within that closed space creates the opportunity for.
Yeah.
Maybe.
When you were talking, there was that, I was seeing images of like inside atomic levels, things unfolding into new structural shapes. Like the bones, the raw materials of everything being smelted, molded into a new shape. So, you know, water might suddenly become some other structure within inside itself, so therefore can begin to behave differently. So it's the same with all of the molecules in our body being changed from deep within inside on a microscopic level, subatomic level, that then allows new energies to flow on a more macro level.
Mm.
Because there's something about the rainbow and the thunder, they have to be together. You can have rain and you get a rainbow, but there's something about the drama of the thunder because it's got the light energy, the electricity to transform. Even if it hits a tree and knocks it down, a new tree will grow up in the space. There's something cleansing about thunder that's dramatically beautiful.
Maybe it goes back to this sacrifice in a way, because that's what blue lunar storm year was for. It was to clear out energy for the yellow electric seed to actually grow.
Yeah, to knock down the big structures so that the seed can reach the light.
Yeah.
So what are you going to throw as cards as a final message, please?
Well, I got this Prince of Swords, who's in a...
He has a lot of court cards.
Yeah. He's riding the bird instead of being like dragged and carried. And like the bird is still holding, it's a shield here, but and then there's the lightning in the back, of course.
Yeah, so that's almost like Clash of the Titans. When these two energies come together, do you fight it or do you get on the back of Spirit and go on the ride with it?
And there is an ace of swords that he's holding, right? So there is almost a new era epoch understanding. And I like this one because it's not, it doesn't feel like it's attempting to command anything.
I think it is.
Wait, what?
It just is. The energy
oh, yeah.
just is. This is the moment that I'm flowing with Spirit.
Oof, well, here's maybe an older energy at the bottom of the deck, where it's calling down the lightning to smite its opposers or foes. Or, I mean, I guess, you know, it was necessity in some ways. The energy was what the energy was, like you said.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's a difference here.
It's very.
This energy also feels a lot freer.
Is there a similar shield at the bottom, or is it someone's top or something?
I think it's someone's like head.
I want to say there's something about it of, can we cancel culture?
Mm. Who is this guy? Oh, there are some people who are like in awe. Okay. It's like there's this guy who's like standing at his side, who's dressed like an opposing force, but isn't really.
It's a little bit like that's what you see on stage, and when you go in the wings, you realize they're all best friends.
Oh, that's interesting. I've heard something very similar recently. It's all a part of the play.
Yeah.
Sometimes as a viewer, we get lost in the performance and we don't realize that.
Well, that goes back to the story you said earlier of the perspectives that media tell us. Do we believe the illusions, or do we just invite ourselves backstage and realize that it's all a performance?
I feel like maybe that's more of the Neptunian influence, though. I'm like, I realize it's a performance, but I don't want to ruin the illusion. I don't want to ruin the moment.
Fantasy.
Yeah, don't take me backstage. I don't want to know how they do it either.
Yeah, because there's lots of people like, I don't want to know how magicians do tricks because it spoils them.
Yeah.
Isn't it better to go, oh, how'd you do that? But don't tell me.
But I think maybe with this energy, it's almost like even if we knew how it worked, even if we knew how it operated, there would still be magic and wonder in it.
Yeah, because I do feel like there's a lot more magic and that kind of frequency returning. I feel like magic couldn't exist in Earth Epoch. It was too strong. It was almost like the Earth had blocked the doors to the esoteric veils. And now the wind's coming in to sweep away all the detritus and allow us to look under the curtains and go into the wings if we want to. Or you could just flow with it and just witness what comes. But don't be annoyed by what comes because you didn't want to go in the wings and look. You see, I feel like when I do astrology work and tarot, I'm looking in the wings. I like to know ahead of time. I'm not a great lover of surprises. It's not that I don't want to be shocked. Look, the lightning, the thunder, they surprise me. I know what a storm is. But there are times when I just want to know what's coming. And that's the Uranian energy in me.
I don't know. I love to be surprised. I think I literally I said that earlier. I was like, I love surprises. I love to be surprised. I like to not know. And it's not that like I'm so intuitive that I know every single thing that's going to happen to me in my life. So it's nice when something happens that I don't know or expect. But I guess it's because I guess now I don't need it as much, but I was so fixed in everything. I never allowed myself anything that wasn't expected or anything that I couldn't immediately get out of if I wanted to. So it was a surprise was a way for me to experience all that I was denying myself in life.
Yeah, that's really true.
Yeah.
It's also when you're in that frequency also, it allows you to accept the flow of things you wouldn't imagine. You know, like me being here in Mexico, I didn't have any idea I was going to do that. I just woke up one morning when I have to go to Mexico, I've worked it out. So there's that kind of surprise. But when it comes to cosmic energies, I'm like, no, I need to be in there. I need to stick my fingers into all the pies of all the planets. And I need to just ask, what are you doing? What's your part in this tune? It's a little bit like, in the music of the spheres, you can listen to a piece of music and it's beautiful. You can be moved. That's the whole symphony. Me, I want to see the full score and I want to read the score in the music notation so that I have a different understanding of it.
Are you the hermit going into the Wheel of Fortune? Sitting in the music like...
Sometimes, yeah. I can't bear not knowing the notes behind the sounds. But I grew up playing in orchestras.
Oh,
that was the energy, was that you were going to put on a performance and you practice. You get something right. I mean, and it's terrible. When I used to sing in concerts when I was very young, people would come up to you and say, oh my God, that was the most beautiful song. I love the way, and I don't know how you did it. And I kind of used to stand there thinking, I practiced. I made sure I couldn't go wrong. I went, every breath, every note, every moment was covered so that then in the concert you can read the energies of the room and deliver the performance they need to hear. But that's preparation, that's preparedness. That's what keeps coming up as well. But I like the fact that you like the flow. I love the flow, and for a long time when I was younger, I liked to control everything around my life because life felt so out of control. And I think that's something that we all do. We especially now during the pandemic times, lots of our controls have been taken away from us, and so we look for controls in other ways. Instead of that, I looked to just let go of everything and flow. So if someone had said to me, do you want to go to India tomorrow? I'd have gone, yeah, let's do that. Because I'm much more willing to allow surprises, but not in cosmic energy. Sorry.
Well, you've also found yourself more patient, so, you know, something's
that's been
changed.
really hard.
Well, you were better for a time.
Patience is the hardest thing for anybody. You find me a tarot reader or a viewer who doesn't sigh when the card of patience or temperance turns up.
I love temperance.
I love it, but most people, when it comes up, they're like, you see, I think tempering is about teaching us all to calm down, to transforming that anger, that divine rage that we have, that frustration that things haven't gone the way we want.
Yeah. And I guess I feel like I've also reached the point where I've had enough, like, better than I can even imagine moments where I'm like, oh, so, like, if I'm being told to wait, like, something good's going to come that I won't even be able to expect. Better than I could have imagined, better than I could have hoped, better than I could have planned. Oh, wait. But also, for a while, you know, I was catching up on a lot of stuff that I was missing out on, like TV shows, anime, video games.
But that's important as well, because that's that whole thing that we talked about earlier with the 444. You know, are you just going to keep healing, or are you actually going to engage in living? You know, I think Rob said in one of his things the other day about food. He's like, you know, he knows all kinds of people that restrict their diet to such an extent that they're just eating broccoli and chickpeas. That's not enjoying life.
Yeah.
You know, we are here to live a life. We are here to enjoy the frequencies of being alive. The spiritual path is meant to be, you have an epiphany, and then you integrate that epiphany and go into the world and enjoy it. And then at some point, a new epiphany will arise. And I sometimes think that these endless spiritual practices that become ritualistic habits are not good for us. You know, if someone says to me, do you meditate? I go, no, I shuffle cards. And I do them on different days. Sometimes I don't pick them up. Sometimes I spend with the cards all day, but none of it's a ritual. Do you have, you know, no, I don't put the cards in a particular place. I just, because I like to mix it all up. I'm even as a child, I was scared of patterns, and yet I search for patterns in everything. And I think I search for them to break them.
It's the world bridger in you, I guess.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. No. Look, you're getting all static again, people. I'm so from Vanaheimir and not Asgard.
I don't know. I appreciate. Well, you know, not only do I have a huge Saturn tapestry that literally it happened. I went to a place, they had it. She was like, that's the last one and it's on the wall. Are you sure you want it? I was like, well, no one else loves Saturn, so yeah, I'll take it home.
Yeah.
But something about boundaries, like I remember walking to the video store with my brother when I was a kid, and you know, sometimes we're walking on the street and a semi would drive by. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm on the sidewalk, they're in the street, nothing's gonna happen. Like I had this barrier, no one's gonna cross it, I'm fine. Like I'm not gonna be scared or freak out. Just because, like, you know, and my brother's like, understandably on the other side, but I don't know. I guess I find comfort in that, knowing that, like, you know, this is where I'm going and this is where that other thing is going. And as long as everyone and everything is doing what it's supposed to be doing, there'll be no collision, there'll be no harm. There is order to the world. And also, I love surprises because, you know, it reminds me that nothing is quite so whatever. But pleasant surprises, maybe I should, well, even a not so pleasant surprise sometimes. I'm like, wow, that happened.
That's what I was going to add. I have a new thing, which is when I have an expectation of something and it falls short, I look for what I'm trying to learn in that instead of being annoyed. Like as I'm packing away my cards while we're talking to you, my bottle of water over here, which was fresh from the fridge, has obviously got covered in condensation, and it's gone down and it's completely drenched the bottom card on my Toth deck.
Yeah, you didn't even use that one. Wait, what is it?
It's the Seven of Cups. It's debauchery. It's that energy of melting away toxicity. It's also about melting illusions. So that card's soaking wet, but also soaking wet is the Eight of Pentacles. They'll dry. I'm not going to sit there and go boo-hoo. They'll dry.
It feels like that Eight of Pentacles shows the thing at different stages. Remember the one that started on the ground and then we saw it in the Ancestors as big and tall? Yeah.
And it's Dear Prudence at the bottom, Prudence.
I love Prudence. She's my favorite.
Well, Prudence has got that energy of just being calm about the movements forwards. Don't need to be flying off the handle or, you know, over in awe, but just being very prudent about things. Don't overdo it.
Yeah.
I've also found a little clay teardrop.
A single tear of the earth.
Exactly. I'm going to hang on for that because it feels like if I could find out a whole set of them, they've made really cute little teardrop runes.
Oh.
I could scribe on them. Well, the storm has passed, the rain has stopped.
You missed all of it.
It felt very much like the drama that's to come as the planets come out of retrograde. Because like Shakespeare, I always believe that the weather around me really talks about the energy in tarot readings when it happens. So if there was going to be a great battle in a Shakespeare story, someone will talk about an approaching storm.
Mm.
And I've been sitting in just heavy water sorcery energy. And just now, as we opened into Mercury retrograde energy and through Pluto and everything, a storm rolled in.
I had a feeling that this may happen. I had a hope that it wouldn't, that you'd be able to go out and enjoy the storm and the rain. And
I didn't need to.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it here with everyone.
Well, if you ever want to, well, I don't want to say summon another storm, but, you know, we're here.
Look, we could just do another reading about, you know, thunderstorms and hope that it comes in. I just wanted to say when I was talking about feeling more Vanahamir frequency heaven, I actually think in truth you just needed this card because this is the heaven I most connect to.
Mm.
And that's the Lithruma.
Do you remember? I was literally just thinking about that earlier today. Whenever you I'm like, I had a dream about you, Russ, and you uploaded something. And it was the first one with I was in like Egypt or something. It was you and I feel like I was just there. You were there doing your thing.
Yeah. And there was some kind of dark corner thing or something, wasn't there?
Well, it was the sarcophagus, and you had the tuning fork, and you were going around just like tuning to everything. And then you put it on the sarcophagus, and like some dark smoke came out of the mouth of the sarcophagus, and some naked elven lady was just like there. And I was like,
Kate Blanchett, she's always getting undressed in my dreams.
Yeah, and she looked like that. Well, you know, less clothes. And I was just like, and she was like, "What? You can see me?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And you're not wearing anything. She's like, "I look great, don't I?" I was like, "Yes, you do. You look wonderful."
Yeah, you look shiny and light with like internal sunshine burnishing through you.
Yeah. And then you set off on a journey.
Yeah, and you came along.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know how to swim. Well, I know how to swim, but I'm not comfortable in open water. I don't want to get in the boat. You're like, it's fine. Like,
And it was fine when you went to visit your friends.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it. I was like, what? And I remember, so it stormed, and they went below deck, and I was one of the people who were like, we're gonna ride out this storm up top, and I had just gotten my hair done, and I was in the swimming pool, and some of them came out, but anyway, in hindsight, I was like, oh, I probably should have went below deck earlier to protect my hair.
No, you shouldn't have. You should have enjoyed the storm.
They forced us to go down, and then we came back up when we were able to. And I think it was another day. I was like doing everything that they wanted to do. I was like, I don't have any time for me. I'm gonna leave. Things got heated, so I was like, I'm leaving. You two stay here and enjoy whatever. And on the way back on the boat by myself, it's like I had time to really be in the moment and not be focused on like being in the moment with other people. Yeah. And something about being on the water, I was like, wow, like this feels different than Earth. Like, I was like, what? And I was like trying to like connect to Gaia or whatever.
Was that
like to see if I can
in the water? Were you alone then?
Wait, what?
When you sent me a video of you walking in the water, was that then when you were alone?
I sent you a video?
I'm pretty sure you sent me a video of you wading through water.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm sure.
If I send you a video, I was probably alone.
Okay.
Wait. Yeah, because I think I went back to the hotel and we had a hotel on like waterfront. And I was like, oh, I'll come out here.
Yeah, you were walking in water. Jesus.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I don't remember sending that. Instagram.
I wouldn't have made
because I'm like, how would I have sent it to you? It was on Instagram.
Yeah,
I sent you a message. Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm in the water.
Yeah, you were really pleased with yourself, and you should be. You got in the water.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're a bloody Pisces, ruled by Neptune. Why are you not in the water?
See, because like my thing, it's always been like, oh, like if I do like, here's your dream vacation based on your zodiac sign. I'm a Pisces. It's gonna be at the beach. I don't even like the beach. I don't even like water. I don't want to have anything to do with it. And then when I was in the water, I loved it. So. Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining me.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, we all need a little bit of Patrick. You see, I'm pointing this way, right? I bet you when the video comes out, it's the other way around.
Just cover your bases.
I think
that's what I do.
He's there. I think it's in reverse at the moment. And I think it will turn around and it will put me that end and you that end, and I'll be pointing in the wrong direction.
Just to mess with you.
There's Patrick. Look, just at the end, we got it right. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all very much for all your beautiful comments that you send. You can make Patrick answer them all in this video.
I'll do my best.
Hooray! He said you heard that. He said he'd do it. He didn't say he'd do his best. He said he'd do it. I'm going to edit out the word the best. Right, have a lovely evening, and thank you so much, Patrick. You're a very gorgeous man. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Wassail, everybody.
Wassail, yeah, wassail. I didn't say it earlier. Wassail, Patrick. Much love to you. I have no idea how to stop this.
I think you end it. Or is there an option to stop? I have a record button. What?